kind of upset because, you know, it's bad. It's bad because the city came into my life. No, actually, what happened is I broke up with my kid's father, and he got his friends on me. His friends are the social worker. You know, I broke up with him, and he took me to family court. I don't know nothing about family court. He took me to family court, and when he took me to family court, he claimed that his last child by me, that the daughter is not his daughter. And it was a big mess when he's mad because I don't want to be with him anymore because he don't love me. And I realized that, you know, I'm not going to play house with you, but for so much. I had my own apartment. It's my apartment. He wasn't putting nothing in it. You know, I met he's older than me. He's Jamaican. He's black, but I didn't know nothing about Jamaican. I just saw him as a black man, you know, and I realized that Jamaicans and Americans, we are totally different. Well, he was driven to just only take care of Jamaica. I mean, he works. He has a nice job. He's into the construction field, and he get paid a lot of money for sheetrock, plumbing. You know, he get paid a lot of money. He's in the union, and every time he got a check, I never saw it. It went to Jamaica. I had a barrel in my apartment. A barrel is this big, tall tube that he used to, like a container. And he used to come home from work and just drop like 15 undershirts in it. Like t-shirts. 15 shorts. 52 bars of soap. You know, stuff like that. And when I met this guy, we didn't even have Costco out to see this big shopping. To make a long story short is the man got paid. He lived with me. He ate food with me. I cleaned. You know, we had a relationship. And he, every time he got paid, it went to the barrel to ship to Jamaica, or the money went to Jamaica. And I got tired. So one day, you know, first we had our son, and then we had a daughter. 2 years later, about a year and a half, going 2 years later, we had a daughter. And the relationship was already over with. The relationship was already over with by the time my daughter was born. When I came home from that, it was over with. And so he got vindictive, and he took me to family court, saying that our last child, he wanted to question the paternity. Oh my God. I didn't know what I was getting into. I don't know anybody in family court. Never been in court myself. I got railroaded. That's what happened. They kept us in court because I didn't know nothing about it, but they was fighting for my children. So, you know, I'm in court because I don't want them to take my children away from me. And we was in court for about maybe 4 consecutive years. And I was tired of going to court. And then they, you know, let me tell you something about the government here in the United States. They need money. They like to hold Black Americans down so they can make money. What I mean by that, they like to put us in jail for everything so they can make money. They like to have us as a head count in the jail system because the jail system makes a lot of money, right? They like to have us in the jail. They like to have, you know, they make a lot of money because they got people that work. You got the warrant, you got the COs, you got the people who fix lunch. It's a money-making business, and unfortunately, they like to use Black American a lot. Everybody finds something wrong with Black American people. The Spanish, the cops, the whites. Oh, go to jail. You can't never get a job. Go to jail, go to jail, go to jail. It's a money-making business. So they had to figure out how to make more money. They got me caught up in family court. I mean, they had me in court. Like, I was going to court. Let me tell you something. I went back to go get my records. When I lost custody of my children, I immediately asked for my records. And the white man behind the record room told me it's sealed. I said, what does that mean? It means that I couldn't retrieve my records. Because I wanted, when they took my children and I lost custody to this immigrant, to this Jamaican who didn't do a damn thing for them, I couldn't believe it. So I said, wait a minute, something's wrong. So I wanted the records. I wanted to see how many times I was in court, how many times it was back to back to back. It was abnormal. And it's a reason why they got me. See, I'm not as how I am right now. See how I am right now? I'm not in my right state of mind. But when I was back in the days when this was going on with me, I was in my right state of mind partially. I knew they were trying to take my kids, and I wasn't going for that. I was fighting them back. But, the only reason why they really got me, because like 25% something was messed up with me. And another reason how they got me is because I didn't have any support. My mom didn't come with me to court. All the time I was in the court, nobody came with me to the court. Meaning my mother, I have a father, my sister, my brother, my cousins, my aunts, my friends, back in the days. Nobody came with me to court. I was all by myself with all them demons. They had me in that courthouse, and they made me come all the time, every day. And when I got tired, after a couple of years, I can say maybe 3, 4, when I got tired of going to court, you know what they did? They came out with a new law. If you don't come to court, they arrest you. You get arrested. I got arrested. I felt that my situation, I was the guinea pig for Black America to start this trend, what we have here now, co-parenting. Because we wasn't doing this before. This co-parenting, the kids stay with the father, the kids stay with the mother, child support in the Black neighborhood. This wasn't done in the Black neighborhood. It was not done. My mom, my grandmother, my aunt, nobody went to court. If that's the case, I was the first one. Like my mom, she's the first person to get Parkinson's disease that I know of in the Black community. And I know everybody in the community because I've been here since I was 3 years old. I was the first one that the white people or the government started with the Black people with child support, child visitation. And I was the first one, the guinea pig, to get everything. When you're the first, you make mistakes. So a lot of things with me went wrong. Living life with Geraldine. Well, I told you I had something to say about how I lost the custody of my children. And, it's coming out today because it's something that transpired, which got me on the camera talking. So, today is December, I think the 11th, 2020. And they took my children away from me, 1990, I don't know, 8? I don't know, 1998. And I've been in court since 1994. No, 1995. I had my daughter in 1994. And I ran and left that apartment and went to a women's shelter. But really, it was a domestic violence shelter when I got in there. And I didn't know nothing about the shelter system either. So 1994. Because I had my daughter, and this man took me to court. My daughter was born in March, April, May, June. He took me to court when she was 3 months old. Wait a minute, I gotta think here, because so much happened. She was born in 1994. And I left on Christmas. My daughter, he took me to court because he told the judge that the daughter wasn't his, and he wanted to go for a paternity test, and that's how all of it got started. And then what happened was, when the courts had a man like him who had a job, and a woman like me who's on welfare, and I fitted the criteria of a typical welfare recipient, but really I wasn't. Meaning I've been on welfare since I was about 19. And then I have 3 kids and 2 baby daddies. Him and I have 2 kids together, and my oldest daughter, she's have a different father. So I fit the bill that the government was looking to take care of. The government was looking for, they was tired of taking care of all the black, my era. Everybody was on welfare. Everybody's on welfare in the projects. Everybody's on welfare. This is my community. This is what I know. Everybody's on welfare, you know. And it's not like we was on welfare because we wanted to be there. You know, you got to remember, you know, things evolve. It wasn't this revolved world that we living in now. It wasn't like that. Don't forget, Black Americans, we were slaves. My ancestors were slaves. And then, so, you know, after the slave part came and everybody got free, so they was like, you know, remember it was white fountain, black fountain. See, you don't know about this, but see, I do, you know, because see, you got to look at my era that I came from. Everybody was on welfare. And it's not because we was on welfare because we didn't want to work. White America wasn't kind. They wasn't giving out the job. Oh, you just don't have a degree. Oh, you just can't get it. Oh, I'm sorry. You don't have, okay, you have the degree, but you don't have the experience. See, that's what we went through a lot. See, your people got it made easy. Don't forget the Jackson 5. You see, I always play Michael Jackson, right? Don't forget, he was a barrier breaker for black people because it was white media, meaning it was only white people on TV. See, y'all don't realize this. It was only a white audience, you know? And they try to cover so many things, but you can't cover it all because it is what it is, you know? The Jackson 5 was the first black family that broke the media. And we seen black people like myself on TV. They was the first family. Before that, maybe right before them came, what's his name, Sammy Davis Jr. But you can't tell nobody else after that. It wasn't many of us like it is now. So I came from an era, it was totally different. I was the first black woman in my community to co-parent, to share my visitations rights with my kid's father. I never heard of nothing like that. Nobody in my family never heard. We never heard because it wasn't here. But anyway, my daughter that was born in 1994, well, I lost custody when she, I think, was in the she was 4 years old. She was in pre-K. And he won custody that day. And it was, and I just came from doing about like, I think 4 years or 3 years in a woman, well, first it started out a domestic violence shelter. She was December, I left that apartment because of him and others, because mainly him. I left that apartment December on Christmas Day, 1994. 94, 95, 96, 97. I think I did 3 years in a women's shelter. Maybe 3.5. Because I found my apartment in 1998. And that's when my mom bought this home. Because when I came out from the shelter system, I was living down the block from this house. And my mother was walking down the street. And she was like, I was like, I just moved here, Mom. You know, I got an apartment down the street. It was for family victims of domestic violence, whatever. And they got me it was a 3-bedroom apartment I had underneath the Section 8 program, 1998. And I think he won custody 1998. So it had to be like a couple months and we were still in court. And I was in court while I was homeless. Oh man, I'm telling you, it was the worst. But I was doing it because I had my children. They were so small. And he was such a jack behind. And what happened was he won custody. I can't believe he won custody. I can't believe, you know how he won custody? They said that they found drugs in my system. Girl, you see all the stress I'm going through, I still do not do drugs. This is 2020, and I still do not do drugs. After all the hell I've been through. 1994. But I was going through something before 1994, because 1994 is when I said, I'm tired of him. It's over. It's quits. 1994. And here it is, 2020, and I'm still having a problem with my daughter. You know, he got home when she was 4 years old, and he didn't, you know, I'm going to tell you something. He played her and me really good because he had friends. You know, those Jamaicans, those immigrants. I don't care. I'm going to come out my face and I'm going to call you because that's what you are. You an immigrant. An immigrant is a person. And now how I'm going to... An immigrant is a person who comes into the United States. You understand? From another region of the world. So if you don't like the word immigrant, you have to take that out the dictionary because you are an immigrant. You understand? Because you came into the United States. Now, only reason why I'm using the word immigrant because it was so many other immigrants involved, meaning like Puerto Ricans, Russians, so many people who was not black, who was not born in the United States, in my affairs with me and my children and their immigrant father. He's Jamaican. He just came from Jamaica. And let me tell you something else. When he came here, he didn't know nothing about barbecue pork, spaghetti and meatballs. He was straight up a roots man. Only thing he knew was curry chicken and curry goat and rice and peas. And I'm not lying to you. I introduced him into a world of culinary taste buds. Because when he came here, he didn't know how to cook no American dishes. And matter of fact, none of them do. None of them do. They learned. And if they ever tell you the truth, because it seems like they always like to hide. They are afraid of who they are, or they don't want to tell you the truth about their self. You know, he didn't know anything about American foods. And he moved into my apartment. He was a black man. He was older than me. He didn't do any drugs. And I thought that was cool because most of the guys in my neighborhood do drugs because a lot of people got records because they don't work. They don't work. So they can't work. They hustlers and they do drugs and that was plagued in our area too. See, you gotta understand the black culture. We went through a lot. They put drugs in our area. Messed a lot of people up too. And when the drugs, when I met this Jamaican guy, I knew he was black. And I heard his accent, because his accent is real. It's straight up. He got a deep, dumb accent. He got an accent. He's Jamaican. He got a really good accent. But what I didn't know is that we are so different. Because we both black, but we are so very different. And I started seeing that in the relationship. And he is so one-sided. Only thing he cared about is shipping everything to Jamaica. I wrote a book on it because you should see everything this man shipped to Jamaica. It's unbelievable. And I just got tired of him never giving. You know what he told me? He used to call me by. He never called me Geraldine. He called me Terry. He said, Terry, the government gonna pay your rent and the government give you food. Me come back. Me soon come. He felt because I was a black American who was on the welfare system that the government do everything for me, which is nothing, which is really nothing, but it is a lot because they was paying my rent. And believe it or not, welfare only pays $215 a month for rent. Yes, girl. Yes, God. We all are probably only paying $215. I'm telling you, it's a different era. And but I had a Section 8, but still my rent was only $215, and the welfare paid that, and Section 8 paid the other rest, the rest of the money, no matter how much it was, right? So he took me for granted, knowing that in my government, in my world, we can have a handout. We can have food stamps, and we get a monthly stipend of food stamps, and we have and they pay our rent for us. But that's just it. You don't have no money to buy anything, you know. So he took that for granted, and every time this working man came home, he shipped everything to Jamaica. And then if he wasn't shipping, he was putting everything in the barrel, and that cost money too to ship. He shipped everything to Jamaica: a washing machine, a refrigerator, a motorcycle, a car. Yo, this man, I had to say, yo, you don't even. Before I left this man, I said, you don't even think about yourself. You so like a robot, just taking everything to Jamaica. You don't even got nothing for yourself. You live in my apartment. I had to kick this man out my house because I wasn't getting anywhere with him. And I had very small kids, and he got vindictive, and he took me to family court. And then those heathens attacked me. I know nothing about family court. I know nothing about the court system. I don't know anything, about the only government thing I know is welfare, And at the time, I know a lot now. That's why I can tell you so much. At that time, the only thing I knew was welfare. That's my whole neighborhood. That was our whole community. White people didn't let us in. We didn't get in like y'all getting in. We wasn't able to get in. And it's not like we didn't try. They just was rough, and selfish and petty. Thought they was Miss Know-It-All. They all Miss Know-It-All. They got all the books, the education, and they was just getting all the white people jobs. The majority race of white people works. The majority race of Black Americans are unemployed. In the United States, I don't know why the United States made white people feel as if they are the kings and queens of New York. They are so not. They are so not. They are bullies. They took over the job market, and they didn't let Black people in unless you had to have a certain critique. You had to have the education. You had to have the experience. They used to be so hard. They're so hard. Like I said, it was a different era. Your people are so lucky how y'all living now, but we got Corona now, so I don't know how lucky y'all are because y'all don't even date. Y'all can't even really kiss. No, let me stop. So anyway, the point is, financially you're lucky. So 1998, the judge appointed him the legal guardian of my children that he never took care of. He never bought them anything. And I lost custody because they said they found drugs in my system. What kind of drugs was it? I don't even know. I think it was crack. But I don't do crack. I don't do drugs. I'm not a druggie where I have a problem with drugs. I never tried crack. I have tried weed. You try things as a teenager growing up. And don't forget, we got plagued in our community with cocaine and stuff. When this crack came, that was serious. That took a lot of my people, it took a lot of my people out. That drug wasn't no joke. But the point is, what I'm trying to say, I wasn't a crackhead. You can tell a person who's on drugs. Not really, but you could because their physical appearance. But some people are functional drug addicts, but you can never be a functional crackhead. That's one thing for sure. So anyway, they found crack, I think it was crack, but I don't even know the amount. I was just blown away that they said, Geraldine Bryant, I'm going to award custody to blah, blah, blah. And I want you to go to a drug rehab because they found crack. I said, what they find? They found crack in my system? Really? But they took my kids and they had their guns. The court officers, they had their hands by their guns because they saw us in court for a lot of years before it got down to this. They were going to shoot me. Yo, let me tell you something. That's Black slavery. This is modern day Black slavery. The United States ain't shit. I'm telling you. I do not do drugs. They didn't have to take my children away from me like that. Not only, it was so fucked up what they did. They took my kids. Let me tell you how grimy. Let me tell you, white people be planning shit. They plan. Let me tell you something. I can look back on it, but when it's happening, you don't see it. But I'm looking back on it. And I'm telling y'all, that's why I want to, I'm going to give y'all the heads up. They did not have in the courtroom where you can bring your kids and somebody watch your children. The courtroom didn't have that. They made all of that when me and him was in court. That wasn't there. If it was there, we didn't know about it. It wasn't there. So they were like, oh, come on, Geraldine. I said, well, look, I got to go pick my kids up from school. They public school, I got to go pick my kids up from school. Okay, go get your kids and you can bring your kids right on downstairs. They had some office, some little area where you can bring your children at. So they can just take them. You lost your custody. That was so painful. I can't even tell you how painful that was. I didn't speak for, I think, maybe 5 years. We all didn't speak. We was blown away. When I'm talking about I'm talking about my kids. A set of trauma setting on them as well as me. Oh my God. And then they had then we had these crazy visits. And before he took my children, before he wanted the custody of the kids, they had us going to the precinct for child visitation. Let me tell you something about you white. You don't know nothing about black people. What the you gonna send us to the precinct for? You don't care. You don't care. It's all about money with them. It's all about money. Let's give an immigrant a job. Let's destroy the Americans. That's how I see it. And you can't tell me how to feel. You put me through a situation that I shouldn't have been put in. You put me through HELLL. And I just want you to know it. And I don't care if you don't want me. You know, who do you think you are? Huh? Who paid you? Why did you do something like that to me? You know, because you're mean and you're ugly. Just like when you was beating up people in slavery time. Because you're just ugly. You're just ugly. You're very hateful. And you're very, very petty and jealous. You don't ever want to see black women have anything. Anything. You take your kids to the bar and nobody say nothing to you. You don't see ACS come to you, but you gotta look. You a nosy person. You gotta look at everything black America do, black women do. You're so nosy. And when you find something, then you wanna make a law how to mess them up. That's how I see it. Cause I don't do crack. Listen to me. I don't do crack. Never did. And I don't want to try it either. So that's how he won my children. After all the bullshit they put us through, to it boils down, I lost custody to an immigrant. And he wasn't even a good father. Because you should see how my 2 children turned out in his care. But you know, let me tell you something about people who abuse children. They really good. They really good. When they molest kids and they do things to children, they really good. Let me tell you something. He's really good. Let me tell you something. And he got friends. He couldn't do this by himself. So they was very smart in knowing she's 4 years old. Let's mess her up mentally when she got to ride this yellow bus. So now he want to make it seem like you came to me like this from your mother. He is such a liar. He's such a liar. And all his friends that helped him. So now this girl, this daughter of mine, she grows up. So after he won custody, 1998, in June 1998, I'll try to fight back, get my kids back. But see, let me tell you, it was a different world. The welfare came up with an idea. Let's get the people on welfare back to work. See, I'm telling you, it wasn't how it is now. These white, they are conniving. Let me tell you what they did. So now, here they come. You know what? Let's get the black people who stuck in the house. Let's get them out of work. We're going to make them go look for jobs every day, all day. And most jobs they're going to get, they ain't going to get no more than $7.50 an hour. Let me tell you something. You just got $15 an hour about a year ago. Before that, it was $7 an hour. And you went up by 10 cents or 5 cents. So, unless you had a job in Manhattan somewhere where they start you out with a salary, $22,000 a year, $25,000 a year, and you get these kind of benefits. So, here's the white people. Here's the government who don't know how to do nothing but look at black America to figure out how he want to make money. But he don't want you looking in his pockets, though. Oh, we got black people in the house. And they don't all on welfare. But we just tired of giving them all our money. They get that free check. And I guess it is a lot. Because, it is a little bit of money. But when a whole community is on it, you damn right it's a lot. Oh, let's just get them black folks out from the off the welfare. We don't want black people on welfare no more. Let's make it a new program. Back to work. So the courthouse removed my children in 1998 and gave them to a immigrant who don't know nothing. And oh my God, he destroyed my children. So now, here's the white people again. We just like this black girl Geraldine. Let's just hang on to her a little bit more. Let's just watch her and we're going to use her to find out how we going to take care of the whole black race over here with these black Americans is all stuck in the house who don't want to do nothing, which is a lie. We do want to do something. You just didn't want to give us our fair share of money. So let's just get them off of welfare. We're going to make up the WEP program, and they have to come out to 9 to 5, unless we're going to take away their food stamps. Yes, girl, they did that. That's what they did. They threatened us. If we did not come to their program, clean the park, and we're not getting paid for that. We working for our check. And our check ain't nothing but the $215 for the rent. You only got $100. Is me and my 3 kids. It's only about we get like $30 each after the rent is paid. So they wanted us to work in the nursing homes and the parks for our check, and a lot of girls didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it either, but I just lost custody of my children, and I didn't want to do it either. But I did it because I needed the food. You know, I still had my, you know what? Let me tell you how dirty the court is. They said they found crack in my system, right? And as I lost custody of my 2 younger children, his kids, that him and I shared. But you know what? They just left my oldest daughter with me. Well, if crack was found in my system and I lost custody, permanent custody of my children, don't you think they should have took my other kid? Let me tell you something. They grind me. They came for her too. They came for my oldest kid 2 years later, and they got her because they put her. They came for my oldest daughter 2 years later, after about going on up close to 2 years after they done took my children away from me because I was a crackhead. They said, right? Now, I'm going a little too fast with the story, because before they took my oldest daughter, like I said, they took my 2 youngest kids and gave them to their father. I lost totally all rights of my children. I lost everything with my 2 children. I don't know their doctors. I wasn't allowed their info, their school information. I lost everything. I went to a 1-year program to get my kids back, an outpatient. You know, nobody never gave me back my kids. So the welfare came up with a situation where they want to get people who's in that. So now they got me going to an outpatient. See, they just using me. They got me going to an outpatient drug rehab for 1 year. See, they using me again. They used me in the courthouse. They see what happened. Now they using me again. You gonna go to an outpatient. And who I'm making money for? People who working. Most likely they immigrants. You know what I mean? Come from Puerto Rico, come from Spain, come from Cuba, come from the Caribbean islands, come from Africa, come from Europe, you know, not Europe, come from Italy, you know, Switzerland, you know, the people, they coming into the United States and they beating up on American blacks. So they put me in an outpatient 1 year. I gotta go there for outpatient. Bitch, I could have been working. No, they don't want to see you work. You a high school diploma. That's all you got. You ain't getting no job. So they make me go to a drug rehab for 1 year. Now, when the drug rehab is over, they just like this black girl. You know what we gonna do now? We gonna make them come out their house and we gonna put them on work experience program. They gotta come outside and work 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, on a job to keep their welfare check. They some dirty dogs. And people who date, I'm gonna say this. This is how I feel. Black people, now I'm not racist. I'm not racist. But what I'm about to say may seem a little racist. But I want you to know, I'm not racist. I just been treated very badly by people who's not black. American black. Now, with all I've been through and with all I lost, when I see a black man with anybody who's not black, American black, I don't like it. Because, you know, when he gets with that woman who's not black, his life seems so much easier. But here it is, I can have the same thing that those women's got, a nice car, home. Oh, let's have a book club, let's have friends, let's do this. But see, they won't let me do that because they like to keep me down. So let me tell you what they did to me. So when I see a black man, American black man, with anybody who's not American black, I really don't like it. And I'm not prejudiced either. I just don't like it because I wasn't given the opportunity to live my life the best that I can. Let me tell you what they did to me. So, after the 1 year outpatient drug rehab, the next thing they did to me, they said, oh, we're going to make y'all work for your check. Be like, what? Yeah, you got to work and clean the parks, that big park. You got to work here and do this and do that. Or we're going to take your food stamp and we ain't going to pay your rent no more. Now, ain't that dirty? Yes, that is. Now, in one way, it's not dope because it did help people. Let me tell you one thing about this. It did help us black people in this whole community in Harlem, all those black Americans who wasn't working, right? Harlem, Brooklyn. It really did, Queens. It helped us because we didn't have work experience. So the WEP program was a way to give us working experience. You know, if you want to be a clerical clerk or something like that, you learn how to file, answer the telephone, and do this other stuff. So it gives you work experience. My WEP job put me in the nursing home and in the parks. And I know some girls who like, they didn't do it. But you know what? They cut their check off. They really did cut their check off. They cut their check off, I think it was for 30 or 90 days. 30, you know, like torture. Like, you know, let's see how you're going to make your money now. Let's see how you're going to feed your kids now. But I didn't do that because I seen some girls that really got cut off. And I had my oldest daughter with me and she needed to eat. And she was in, I think, junior high school. She needed to eat. If it was just me by myself, I would have did it. I would have been like, but I couldn't do that because I had my oldest daughter with me. And then I got to see my 2 children on the weekends, Friday through Sunday. That's if it took place. But anyway, let me just tell you. So they got me working for my so by me working on a WEP assignment, I did get a job. I finally got a job. I became a security guard. And let me tell you something else. Back in the days, it wasn't no women's as security guard. I'm not that old neither, by the way. But I'm just letting you know this is my era. It wasn't security guard. Security guards was men's. In 1999, no, not 1999. In 2000, that's when, they, no, maybe 1999. I'm right. 1999, they let females become security guards. And when I got a job as a security guard, I worked for, I think, 8 months, close to a year, and I went back to the courthouse. I wanted my children back. They didn't come to me and ask me, did I do a drug program? Did I finish? They didn't bring me back my kids. Or they just don't want it. You know, they destroy family. Then they have the nerve nowadays. You see TV come on about Thanksgiving and all that stuff. After they destroyed everybody's family. They want everybody gay. They sick. They fucking sick. And you know what I'm talking about. They fucking sick. So... And you know what? And they think they almighty, but you can, you know what? I just want to say, you can pray on them and God will take care of their behinds. But I'm not going to talk about them right now. I ain't going to talk about them devils, those evildoers. Let's talk about, so I became a security guard and I worked and I put a petition into the courtroom to take back my children. I still had their bedrooms. They still had their bed. I wanted my kids back home, my 2 younger kids. And I lost my job after that. sometimes I'm looking back on it now. I'm thinking, is it all planned? So I lost my job because the airport I was working at as a security guard, well, Terminal 4 got replaced with TSA. And I took the test and they said I didn't pass, so I got fired. See, that's what happened. A new management came in to the terminal where I was working at, was at the airport. And what happened is I didn't pass the new management test and I got fired. But before I got fired, I did go back to the petition. I went to the courthouse and I put in a petition to have my 2 younger children returned back home. I want my full custody back. I want to be a mom because I'm not really a mom to my 2 children right now. So, when I went to the courthouse and I put a petition in, I'm going to tell you what happened. I lost the job, right? First, I went to the courthouse, I put the petition in. Then maybe like a month or 2, I lost my job. And the court didn't come to my house at that time because it took a while once they got to the petition. By the time the courts came out to my house, they had actually knocked on my door. They came to my apartment. And I let him in, and I'm going to tell you what the court employee found. What she found, she was a woman. What she found was I was unemployed, the welfare done changed, and meaning the welfare changed, whereas, as web assignments. Remember I told you they changed, they want people to work now for their check. Well, when you had to get back on, you had to wait a grace period. I think it was 60 days, 30 days, something like that. And when you're waiting for this grace period, the welfare just stopped everything. They did not send you no food stamps. So I had no food. So this worker, she told me, well, Miss Geraldine, you're not going, from what I see, I do not see me going to the courthouse to give you back your children. But I'm going to tell you one thing. What about your oldest daughter? See, they had to fix up where they went wrong at. Because they said that I did drugs, right? They said I did crack, right? But they kept my daughter with me, right? And they took my 2 kids, and I lost totally custody. I lost everything with those kids. And they gave my 2 kids to their father, to the deadbeat dad. He took them and ran. And now the courthouse said, no. She did the courthouse not stupid. She did an outreach page. She did a drug outreach. You know what? And we didn't even offer to give her back her kids. And she don't have no history of drugs. So now they're going to have to cover their behind. They said, you know what? I can't see you getting back your kids because you don't have no job. That's what she said. I ain't had no food in my house. But she said, I don't think this is a good environment to bring the kids back in. You don't have anything. But I still had their bedroom. I still had their beds. I just didn't have any money. But now that employee who came to my house, because I put a petition in, now she looking at my daughter, who's with me, my oldest daughter. She said, but you know what? I do care about her. You don't have no food, so you have to put her in a group home. I said, oh no. I'm bugging out now. I'm bugging. You done took my 2 younger kids. Now you talking about putting my daughter, who's in junior high school, in a group home? I don't know nothing about no group home. What? I don't think so, miss. Well, you better have her to go somewhere, because if I come here tomorrow and she's still here, I'm going to put her in a group home. Let me tell you something about gay bitches. Let me tell you something about the gay world. They just fucked our world up. They want everybody to be gay. Yeah, you do. They are a gang. They a gang, and they fucking well organized. They molest children, and they get away with it. They got their own kids not even saying nothing. But regular kids, they come into our homes and taking our children out our homes. And then they having the gays to adopt our kids. Just think about it. You'll never see no ACS worker going to no gay people houses, asking them about anything about their kids. And 9 times out of 10, their kids go up gay too. And they be, oh, it's okay. They need their own world. Because they don't, gay people always talk about their rights, what they want. Yeah, they cry about everything, right? And they get it, right? But they don't get back the same thing they get. they don't give back the same kind of respect. Like, they don't give me no respect because I'm not gay. So they came in my home and they took my children. Get them while they're young, right? That's why when I hang up, I'm going to get on my knees and I'm going to pray that you go to hell with your gay self. Because you always want somebody to take care of you and your wants, but you don't do the same for others. You're a hypocrite. Because I don't believe in child molestation. And if I don't believe in that, so that's why you said, oh, we don't like her. That's what it's all about. Let me tell you something about white people kids. They knew doggone well their nannies and whoever was child molesting them. They didn't tell them, oh, we was just born this way. You know, don't get mad at me because I'm saying that. Oh, she gonna kill herself. Don't get mad at me because I'm saying that. Because you know damn well you're not born that way. Only way you're born that way if you have two parts. A vagina and a dick. But you don't tell the truth. You don't tell when someone's stroking you when you was 3 or when you was 5. You ain't telling the damn truth. See, I respect you more if you tell the truth. But a lot of you ain't telling the truth. But then some of you do come out, and like the preachers or what, some of you do come out and tell the real truth. But you know what? You need to, I'm talking about gay people. You need to respect everybody. Because you living in the world. You brought your mess in my world. And now, now you want to take my world away from me. Or make me feel bad for being who the hell I want to be. How you going to come in my home and then say, I'm going to take your daughter and put her in a group home? What happens in group home? Let's tell the truth. You know, the government gave you too much rights. Because you done messed up this whole family thing. At least you messed up mine. Because I didn't do drugs. I don't do drugs. I didn't do crack. And I dare you to come in my home and I'm busting I'm busting myself as a single mother with no funds because you just don't want to see a black girl have no money. And then you're going to come in my home and say, if you don't get, you're going to come in my home because the welfare changed. And the welfare ain't going to do nothing for 30 days. Whatever their grace period is. They're not going to give you no emergency food stamp, nothing. And you're going to tell me, you're going to put my daughter in a group home. So that's what they did. That's what happened. So I had to find somebody for my daughter to stay with. And my mother would not allow my daughter to live in this house here because her husband, you know what? He's a West Indian too. You know. So my daughter could not come stay in this house. And that was one of the reasons why me and my mom had like I love my mother, don't get me wrong, but I couldn't understand her. You know, I felt I needed some help and she wasn't helping me there. She never came me to court. So now my daughter need to go someplace. They put her in a group home. I told my mother. And I got an apartment underneath the Section 8. I'm like, God, you done took my 2 kids and now I'm not getting my kids back. Now you talking about taking my daughter? So this is the Jamaican. He's talking to my little kids. Your mother, she just don't want to work. You really bum liar. If you wasn't over here taking all the jobs, maybe I could have a job. And then when you make supervisor, if you'd be fair with me, but you're not. You're not fair with black Americans. That's why nobody's not working. I'm talking about now. So anyway, he was telling my kids that I don't want to work. I'm the hardest working person I know. I mean, Lord, I'm taking care of kids with no money and they don't know nothing. They the loveliest kids. And now I'm in an outpatient and I'm going to court. I want my children back. And now you come in my house and you say that you taking my daughter. So I put my daughter, my sister called me. And I let my daughter stay with my sister. And then you won't believe what happened. I got evicted. It's called an illegal eviction. They evicted me. See, what happened is when I lost my job, I couldn't pay the rent right? So I applied for welfare help again, and welfare with the grace period, not doing anything. I got an eviction notice, and then I started working in the parks and all this stuff, not to be evicted, but the management told me they never received a check from welfare. So I got evicted. So I'm gonna tell you how it went down. I lost the custody of my 2 children to that deadbeat immigrant. And then they come to my home and tell me, I'm going to put your youngest daughter in a group home. So I let my daughter go stay with my sister. And then I come home and I walk up the steps. I see furniture leaving. I see a big truck out there. I walk into my apartment and it's empty. The super's in my house with his hands out talking about, give me the keys. I said, why you ask me for my keys? He said, because you're evicted. You've been evicted. They took everything out my house. Everything. And I became homeless. And when the World Trade fell down, right after the World Trade fell down, I became homeless. And I became homeless all the way up to 2011. By the time I came out of the shelter system, my kids was grown. They was grown. My youngest daughter was just turning 18, and I helped her apply for SSI. She still rides the school bus. So what made me tell you all of this today is that daughter I was talking about, the one who turned 18, the one that was born in 1994. After a while, the father got married to another Jamaican woman. But you know what? I don't know if it's for love, because he got married to somebody else, and it was for citizenship. And I see, since I live in the Bronx, a lot of the immigrants, a lot of the Spanish, they all go to the courthouse and they change their names and they get married. And then next thing you know, they get divorced. That's what they done came up here and changed the concept of the American ways. So I don't know if he married her because he loved her, or he married her to give her citizenships to come to New York. But this woman sort of treat her like a mother. It's not like, I don't know, it's like she brainwashed. It's like Jamaicans do voodoo. It's like they just lie, like they just hate Americans, like they just hate us, black people, and they just talk about us all negatively. And really, they need to cut their crap out, because you came up to my country, you live in my community, and you imitating me. You got my job, and you learn how to cook other things than curry goat, rice and peas, and stewed chicken, and jerk chicken. You don't even eat vegetables. So you came up here to New York and you talk bad about black Americans, because I'm gonna tell you, I'm talking from my own experience. My mother's husband, he's West Indian. He came into our home, and we invited him in. We let him. We didn't invite him in. We opened our arms to him and accept him. See, that's where we went wrong at with that demon. And then when him and my mom buy a house, he didn't buy this house and put my mother in here. Him and my mother both bought this home. And now none of my mother kids, especially me, I can never come in the home. Or my kids can come in their home. So now this man who I met, he's Jamaican. He moves into my apartment and builds up his country while living on me. Then he goes to the courthouse, to the white dumb bitches, and lie to them and tell them to start all this drama in my life. And then he takes my kids and I don't have nothing to do with them. And then he don't even take care of them. But then he get married to somebody else, and she's Jamaican, and he's brainwashing my daughter that, like she's the mother. And then this dumb woman, she's a woman, and she telling my daughter, she's getting her kicks off for telling my daughter, be home at 4 o'clock, be home. And she's with me. And my daughter, I gotta go home. It's not. So that's what made me talk about this, because this Jamaican woman now, I don't know, she's just jealous. She gets into my house. Because, see, he bought a home. When he got my kids, he bought a home. He bought a home. And he didn't do nothing for me. He had all the money, see? And he bought a home. And then he met some woman, then, I don't know. I didn't hear he was dating. I just found out he was married. So that's what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So now, here it is now. She moves in, and now she act like she's my daughter mother. You know, what's wrong with her? What's wrong with her? That's my daughter. I'm talking to my daughter. I like to understand her. I like to be around her. I can't help it because I was homeless all them years, and I was seeing my daughter in dire situations. You know? Man, it was bad. But anyway, the whole thing what I'm trying to say is now, you know, I'm not homeless now, right? I'm in my mom's house trying to take care of this situation with her home, clean it up. Because, you know, I got to figure out what's going to happen with her home. Am I going to keep it? But how can I keep it? I'm not even working, you know, to keep it. But am I going to have to sell it? But I have to clean it up and throw it out. So I'm the only one here right now. Oh. So I hear my sister's supposed to be coming back home. Now, after I did all this work, now she's coming back home. She told me she was supposed to be going for a year. But anyway, I'm not talking about her right now. My children, those are my biological kids that he swindled with his other friends, his cronies, his other immigrants, the Spanish, everybody who don't want to see Black American have who came into me lying and said I did drugs and took my kids away and never even gave my kids back. You know, they all immigrants and foreigners who did this. Yes. So now, here's come this Jamaican lady, and now she moving. She's sitting on my seat from my throne, and I got my kids, and then now, I just think she hate my daughter. Because, I think she just hate me, and she hate my children, you know, because, I'm still in their life. It's not like this man had these 2 American kids. No, it's not that. I'm still very much in the picture, you know, and she don't want to respect that, you know, and they play. I just think the wife is out of line. What do you think? Write me in a comment. What do you think? I think the wife is out of line, and the wife should support. You know, I'm gonna tell you something. I asked her because she's living with my kids. I like to have not a relationship with her, but I like to have some type of common courtesy because she's in the house with my kids. I want to make sure that me and you can talk to one another. But let me tell you something. These Jamaican women, they just don't want. Besides for Spice, I like Spice. Spice is a Jamaican woman. I'm not talking about you, Spice. I'm talking about the Jamaican women that's in my circle who's causing all this trouble for me. You understand what I'm saying? So this lady, she's causing trouble because it's like, she's not your daughter. You know what I'm trying to say? And it's not like I'm a crackhead. You know, it's like this woman just want to put me down. But you know what? She gonna get what's coming to her because everybody do. Everybody always reap what they sow. You know, so that's all I gotta say about that. And the only reason why I brought all this up because my kids was removed out since 1994. And my kids was removed. Oh my God. I've been going through so much since 1994. But really since 1993. Really, let's go a little bit. 1992. But really 1993. Oh my God. 1993, so much was going on in my life. 1994. Oh my God. I just had my 3rd child, tied my tubes. And this Jamaican man. Oh my God. It was so much. This is year 2020. And I'm still having problems with my damn kids. I'm still having problems when them white just came in my life and removed my children out of my life on a damn lie. And when I went to court, they say statute of limitation ran out. In my mind, it didn't run out. Because when you mess up somebody's lives, it don't run out. It don't run out. White people need to mind their business when it comes to Black American. And now, after you don't mess my shit up, now you want to, let's mind our business. I say, may you go to hell.